Okay, that's the main question for the experts. I'm not going to show you a lot of modeling approach, how does modeling work in this exercise, a lot of statistics and also the scientific knowledge underpinning this project. But I would like to highlight here is that this is a very important exercise at that time, and we have stakeholder consultation component as well at that time, with aim to reach broader stakeholders outside the MRC world, and also civil society and river-dependent communities to engage in the project. You can ask questions later if you are interested in terms of scientific basis of this project, but I stop right there for this case study. The project was perceived as being too green and too complex. So by doing e-flow, it came out in the form that you support decision makers in terms of water resource planning. The outcome of e-flow project was not understood by decision makers and stakeholders outside the MRC much. So the main criticism at that time was, why don't you engage more stakeholders into the process? And I think the main challenge I would like to flag here is that in order to integrate the e-flow into water resource decision is the main, it's very difficult, and this is the main challenge that we are facing. Okay, the second case study is Songkhram River Basin in Northeast Thailand. It's a map there to show you where it is. E-flow in Songkhram was conducted under IUCN initiative in 2005, and this is the case that e-flow was actually applied based on the conviction that e-flow does not only consider the importance of river flow from a physical and ecological perspective, but it's also related to socio-economic and political factors at play in the river basin as well. The team of interdisciplinary experts was set up, and there are two components that I would like to flag in terms of how did we do e-flow: intermediate EFA e-flow assessment and also the dialogue component. The intermediate AFAs came out in the form of various field studies that conducted in Songkhram, which coincide with the two extremes of flow condition, the peak river level in late August and early September, and in minimum flow in March 2007. This kind of field design actually allows first-hand visualization of the flow variations and the recognition of flow in its biophysical and socio-economic cultural conditions pertaining at critical times of the annual hydrological cycle. And the dialogue components actually engage to have broader stakeholders in the team from different scales. You have provincial authority on board, you have local stakeholders, you have river dependent communities came in the project as well right in the beginning. And the senior provincial agricultural officer actually claimed that this e-flow study had helped him to understand that annual floods should be seen as beneficial to the ecosystem and communities, rather than natural disaster that need an engineering solution. This e-flow has been widely perceived as robust and participatory. The challenge at that time was how do we upscaling this kind of e-flow exercise into the higher level that you could get more influence in terms of decision making in the case. Okay, my third case study. This is Vietnam, which I already introduced briefly already, that they explicitly put e-flow into their national water resource management strategy. IMI and IUCN were the one who conducted this study, and in the form of rapid e-flow assessment component. I'm going to talk a little bit about this later. The objective at that time was to come up with the IWRM strategy. There's a solution to the problem that they are facing in terms of saline intrusions. And by addressing those problems, the team think that multifaceted and integrated solution is the way to go. That's why e-flow concept came in. So how rapid e-flow assessment was conducted in terms of actually in the forms of workshops. Various workshops were organized to discuss various scenarios of water resource development in the basin. It's heavily focused on hydrological perspectives, which was designed to creating awareness and understanding of river flow, and is connected with biophysical and socio-economic aspect of the river. You could imagine the context of water resource development in Vietnam a little bit. The way e-flow came in was to open the dialogues for talking about dam debates, talking about dams and impacts in Vietnam, which public participation has been seen as a little bit of issue there, and there are so many perspectives in there. So the E4 project was an attempt to open a debate and dialogue about dam impacts in Vietnam, and the provincial government who involved in the project actually perceived this project as very successful in terms of providing opportunity for the public to be included in debates of E-flow and assist decision-making process in Huang River Basin. So what do we learn from these 3 case studies? What are these 3 case studies tell you? I think the take-home messages would be, first of all, E-flow should not be seen as one-size-fits-all approach at all. It is context-specific, and it has to be culturally embedded. Attentive to the lesson from past experience is very crucial in order to develop more effective E-flow in the region. Integrating various stakeholders and knowledge into the E4 process, especially the local knowledge, is also very important, and also the engagement from river-dependent community as well in the scenario assessment exercise right in the beginning of the process. I think quite challenging to see how the outcome of E-flow exercise integrated into water resource management and river basin planning in the context of Mekong. So from what I said, this is actually the chapter in the book called Politics and Development in Trans-Boundary Watershed, the case of Lower Mekong Basin, edited by Joachim Ogendo. So look for us if you are interested to know more about E-flow in the Mekong. Thank you very much.